Jonathan Taylor, the star running back for the Indianapolis Colts. We know, if you've been following the NFL, that he is embroiled in a contract dispute with the team. He's in the last year of a deal paying him $4.3 million this season. He's currently on the PUP list with an ankle injury or recovering from an ankle surgery. But he's asked for a trade. Initially, the owner, Jim Irsay, said they weren't going to trade him. And now it comes out today that the team is giving him permission to seek a trade. So, Rob G, what are your thoughts on this new development with Jonathan Taylor?
Look, I like Jonathan Taylor. I want to see everybody get paid, but he is in for a rude awakening, right? According to ESPN, Stephen Holder does a great job covering the team there. The Colts are looking for a first-round pick or a package of picks that would equate to a first-rounder on that table that they use come draft time. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
That seems fair, right? For a guy of his caliber. Jonathan Taylor's an all-world running back, and he's very young. He's entering the prime of his career.
Right.
However, if you look at some of the notable returns for running backs over the last few years, 2022, Christian McCaffrey goes for a second rounder, a third rounder, a fourth rounder, and a future fifth. Well, that sounds all right. It seems like it'd be a...
And that was just a year ago.
That's October 2022. That seems like it'd be a first-round equivalent, right? Problem is, you have to go back to 2015 to find the next comparable trade value for a running back. LaShawn McCoy to the Bills for Kiko Alonso, straight up. 2013, Trent Richardson to the Colts for a first-round pick. 2004, Corey Dillon to the Patriots for a second-rounder. 2002, Ricky Williams and a fourth-rounder to the Dolphins for a first-rounder, a fourth-rounder, and a future first. Look, if this was 2019, sure, maybe Jonathan Taylor would be able to get a deal for a first-round pick from Indianapolis. The problem is not only are you trading for a position that the NFL has determined is not all that valuable, number one. Number two, he's going to run into the same issue that Austin Eckler just ran into earlier this offseason, where he was granted permission for a trade. The problem is nothing ever materialized, because not only do you got to compensate the Colts, or in Eckler's case, the Chargers, he's looking for a new contract.
Right. You hit it on the head. And I'm with you. I love Jonathan Taylor is a tremendous running back. And I love the running back position. You know, I'm from the old school, Rob G. I played football through high school, wanted to be a runner. Growing up, that was my dream. I liked football better than basketball. My dream was to be that next great tailback at USC. This is back when they were tailback.
Student body left.
Yes. And so I loved the running back position. But if I were running a team, as great as Jonathan Taylor is, am I giving up much to get him? No. And as you said, it's not like I can just trade for him and he's a great running back for me. Great. No, it is that he wants a long-term deal. He probably wants something in the range, 3 years, $36 million? Like, that's probably
the baseline.
The minimum. Right. Yeah. He probably wants more, but would settle maybe for that because of the market. But I can go out and get a guy who may not be quite as good as Jonathan Taylor, but he can still be very productive at a much lower rate. And look, it's not fair for the running backs. Hopefully something can be worked out where they start getting their fair pay. But right now, the market is depressed. And Rob G, I'm going to throw this at you. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. Probably the best 4 running backs last year, and maybe for the past couple of years: Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns; Josh Jacobs, Las Vegas Raiders; Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts; and, of course, Derrick Henry, Tennessee. What do all those teams have in common from last year?
Did they all miss the playoffs?
None of them made the playoffs.
There you go.
I've got the 4 best running, like we're strictly talking running backs, and none of them made the playoffs. It's just the game has changed. And you're right. Like, he is in. You know what's going to happen? Nothing.
Right. Exactly.
He's not going to get traded. And the Colts know it. It's just like now, of course, Lamar ended up getting paid. But it's like when Baltimore said, go out there, you can check the market. They knew
who's giving
nobody
you
was going to give
guaranteed.
him the deal that he wanted. Now, they obviously paid him, and good for Lamar and good for them, but they knew. The Chargers probably knew with Austin Eckler. Josh Jacobs, the reports are now that he's about to show up for camp. And good for him because he get that $10 million.
Right.
And play. But it's just the climate now. And like I said, beyond the money he wants going forward, beyond the fact that the position is just not quite as valuable as it used to be, Rob, he's injured. We talked about him on the pup list. Now, maybe he could play. Maybe this is just part of the quote-unquote holdout or whatever. But he's still coming off an ankle injury. He's coming off a season in which he missed 6 games. And his production, Rob G, 2 years ago when he led the league in rushing and touchdowns, 1,800 yards rushing, 5.5 yards a carry. Last year, granted, only 861 yards. He only played 11 games. But 4.5 yards a carry.
Right.
So if I'm a team again, I'm wondering, is he even the same guy he was 2 years ago when he was all-world? So I don't think he's getting traded. And the question will be, is he going to play for the Colts?
Right. And, well, 2 things there. One, you didn't even touch on the injury that kind of started this whole hullabaloo in Indy that's kind of spilled over into the media. It was reported that he failed his physical.
Right.
Not because of the ankle injury, which you touched on, and he had surgery, but because of a back issue. And he ended up tweeting out later, I never had any back pain, never reported back pain. Well, I don't think they would fail your physical unless you had something similar to that going on. Like, it was strange. It'd be too deep into conspiracy theory to be like, yeah, we're going to fail it on purpose so we can lower your value and not have to pay you. Like, I don't think that'd be the situation.
Right.
But number 2, to your original point about the trade. As of right now, 8 p.m. Eastern-ish, there's only been one team that has publicly been linked to Jonathan Taylor now that the news broke that they are granting permission to seek a trade. That is the Miami Dolphins. A couple of outlets said that they'd be interested in Jonathan Taylor. You know who else they were interested in? Was Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
And even they determined that 1 year, $7 million with only $5.8 million guaranteed was too rich for their blood. So what makes you think they're going to give up first-round draft pick compensation value plus 3 years, 35-ish million, and 29 of it's guaranteed?
Totally agree. And the thing with Dalvin Cook, and he obviously ended up signing with the Jets. Has the money been reported?
Yeah, 1 year, $7 million, only $5.8 million guaranteed.
There you go. Now, I think Dalvin Cook thought he was going to get more money.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings were offering him 1 year, $7 million, right?
Right.
And I'm sure he thought, man, I can go out there and get 10. He probably was thinking higher than
I can get the franchise tag. The franchise tag is $10 million. I could probably get the franchise tag. Right.
And it didn't happen. Austin Eckler, nothing. And Miami, now look, Jonathan Taylor is better than any of the backs they have, but can they survive with Raheem Mostert? Yeah, pretty good. He's a no-name, and no offense, he's a no-name guy, but you remember him doing damage in San Francisco on their way to the Super Bowl. Remember that?
Yep.
When they lost to the Chiefs. Jeff Wilson Jr., similar type. Like, those two guys are pretty good running backs. Now, they're not Jonathan Taylor, but that's the point. You can get enough guys to get it done without having to pay the big money. And Dalvin Cook's a great example because Dalvin Cook is a terrific running back.
He's great.
Yep. The last 4 years, each of the last 4 years, he ran for 1,000.
Look,
that's rare nowadays, and he still couldn't really get paid.
and it was on a 1-year deal.
Right.
Right? Like you couldn't even get a 1-year franchise tag level contract. And somehow Jonathan Taylor and the Colts and his representatives believe that I can triple that plus the draft pick compensation. He's going to be very disappointed. To your point, the reason why we didn't lead with this story is because we both think nothing's going to come of it.
Right.
He's going to be right back where he's been come week 7 playing for the Colts.
No doubt. I have no doubt he's not getting traded. Now, we'll see if I'm wrong. I don't think he's getting traded.
Nope.